Hello, it's Barry.
I'm just going to say it's Nate.
It's Brian.
Brian, I thought you were going to do the thing.
I'm saving that one.
Do the thing. It's the collector edition.
Hey guys, it's Brian here.
And welcome back to the Collecti-Bros podcast. This episode is geared towards the basis of the collector's market, the collector's editions, specifically in video games.
Specifically.
Which I feel like video game or collector's editions are synonymous with video games at this point. Before we get into that, feel free to follow or subscribe on social media on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Collecti-Bros Pod if you like what you hear. In the show notes, as well as a link to our Discord channel if you'd like to join that and speak to us directly. Feel free to give us a glowing review, 5 stars only. We have to maintain the status of being a higher rated podcast than Joe Rogan.
We're technically the highest rated podcast on Spotify
Of all time, technically. I mean, perfect.
We need to maintain it. We have to beat Joe Rogan.
We got a chance if you guys help out a little bit.
Y'all remember he's the enemy of video games. If you really care about games.
We are the most oppressed group in the world.
True.
True.
We're fighting oppression. Oh my god.
Also, at the end of this episode is going to be a new brief segment, what I like to call the Rings of Game Retail Hell, where we recount some of the stories we've had working in a retail store, secondhand store for games. Nate and I both worked at one. Brian worked there very briefly, but
Brian
also
cameoed.
Yeah, but he also owned a collectible store at one point. So we're just gonna, after a Discord suggestion, we're gonna start adding in some of our hell stories because we have lots of them, and
You know,
some
it's
of them are
crazy.
terrifying.
I was there for 2 weeks and I've got so many damn stories.
That place was a hell pit. So this is the stay tuned to the end of the episode for a quick the Rings of Video Game Retail Hell. Now that we got that out of the way, what games have you been playing and what games have we picked up in recent times? Let me start with Nate.
Cool. So what I've been playing Final Fantasy 16. It's taking up most of my time. I've not gotten to play as much as I've wanted to because I'm absolutely adoring this game. It's my game of the year so far by the running mile. I'm about 60% through the story, but according to Barry, with me doing all the side quests and hunts, I'm about a third through it.
A third.
So
Yeah.
this week coming up, I will have a lot of free time to be able to just sit here and no life it. So don't think I'm going to be able to finish it, but I want to get at least like 75-80% done with the game. So that's my goal right now. Other than Final Fantasy, it's a lot of server closures going on. Brian and I have been playing Avengers. They're
Still?
Yeah, it's a grind, man.
Unfortunately.
I like the game more than most people, but it's a grind. They're delisting in about 2 weeks, so it's kind of finish line here for that. And then Forza Horizon 2, whenever the servers work, I've been playing that. So it's a lot of time for Final Fantasy. But as far as pickups, I don't have a whole lot. Brian unearthed some PC games from our childhood and gave me Donkey Kong on the Atari 4800. Well, sorry. Brian gave me Donkey Kong on the Atari 800, and I found a pole position on the 800 that I didn't have, apparently. I have it for the XE, which is different packaging, but
Different game.
it plays the same, though.
Yeah, but definitely runs better on the XE.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's cool to know.
So, I mean, it's a newer computer. You
Yeah.
gotta think that, especially for back then, like, yeah, the technological leap with PCs now is crazy, but back then it was just like
Oh, sure. Everyone was like
a million
wild.
fold, you know?
I haven't actually played the XE version. I remember growing up, we played this 800 version like crazy.
Clutch. 800
Yeah.
version's clutch.
But the only other 2 games I got, I found a clearance half-price books run. I got Hidden and Dangerous 2 on PC. I have the first one on Dreamcast. I haven't actually played it, but for $3, it only came out on PC. So I found a sealed Quake 4 on PC for $3. So what the hell? It'll look cool on the shelf. Quake 4 is a game that kind of got unfairly shit on what people are going back and kind of finally remembering for the really cool campaign it had. So
It's a Raven game, man.
Yeah.
Like, Raven makes good campaigns.
So not a whole lot in the pick department, but it doesn't matter because I'm playing Final Fantasy until I'm done with it anyway. So because it's a great game. I honestly feel like it's getting a bad rep too, even though it's, like people generally like it. But I feel like I like it more than most people so far, to be honest. Brian, how about you?
Yeah, I haven't started Final Fantasy yet. I'm not
And
gonna.
he never will.
No, I'm not gonna bet my whole
Hey,
collection.
I was gonna say,
but I do have a date. So yeah, once this Forza servers close the 22nd, I'll have some time to actually play some games for fun. I know that's a crazy concept.
Are you going to finish 7 first?
yeah, finish 7, bro.
Should I?
Yeah.
So
You're never going to.
I've been
at this
picking at
point.
7. Yeah, it's true.
You also have intermission to
I feel
play.
like honestly,
Crisis Core.
so the difference between 7 with you and me is like I think you played it a little more as a kid and stuff, so you had a little more like already kind of knowing stuff. 16 will captivate you, bro. I'm telling you. Like, I think 16 was like made for people like you.
There's just so many games out right now. It's tough, man. And then being
Look,
addicted.
you got, what, a month? You have a month of free time before something comes out.
I've got the achievement
That's it.
needle in my arm is a problem.
You got a month of free time, and then it's
Sickness,
just
bro.
bam, bam, bam,
Yeah,
bam.
I gotta get this game done before all that stuff comes out.
Bam, yeah.
So that's the thing. 22nd. So I'm starting Final Fantasy.
The 22nd?
Yep.
And Armored Core comes out like the 25th?
I didn't pre-order Armor Core.
I didn't either.
Wait, you mean August or July? July 22nd?
July 22nd.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry, August. Whenever the Forza servers close, good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, it's one.
Wait, you guys didn't pre-order Armored Core?
Mm-mm. I'll pick it up.
Nobody. I guess it was just me, huh?
Yeah.
I want to play it, but I've got so much other stuff to play.
You're the guinea pig to see how soulsy it is.
Whatever. My collector's edition comes with a cool robot.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
I'll
you get the
see that.
collector's edition.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm envious of that. It's gonna be sweet. But yeah, as far as playing, I've been playing Forza Horizon 2, and man, some nostalgia there. It's weird to see when you play a game and watch it die before your eyes. Like the car clubs were a really big thing in Forza Horizon, and now it's just like they don't work all the time. So literally, you have like this fond memory of, oh, that was a great game, and then you just see it like crumbling live before you. It's a weird feeling, man. But the last online achievement I have is the Rivals mode, or if you guys know, or if you don't know, you'll do a lap in like your story, and then it'll challenge either someone from your car club or your friends list, and you have to beat them. The problem is, and I should be done with it because I've literally played for, 20-something hours at this point. The servers die like mid-race and it doesn't count any progress or anything. So it's been tough. I've been trying to just play that when it works. Like Nate said, we've been playing Avengers, which I'm not a fan of that game. I think the story was great. The campaign was awesome, but after that, just put it on the shelf and don't ever play it again.
I'm not gonna say it's a perfect game, but people criticize it without playing it.
I mean, if you enjoy pushing Y 3 times, then push Y and B, then it's the game for you because that's literally all you do in the game.
to beat them up, so there's like combos you unlock and stuff. If you want to not spam it, you cannot spam it.
Just snooze them up.
The problems with the games, people knew it does have problems. I'm not saying it's perfect. It's better than people said though. Like Brian pointed out a really good point as we were playing it. There's these hostages you have to rescue. And he's like, "Hey, what's the actual point of this?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You don't get any experience for doing it. You don't get any like collectible." I'm like, no one ever talked about how that was a problem. There's empty, hollow stuff in it.
It's to be a hero. Heroes don't want gratitude and they don't want rewards.
And a bunch of
Real
them just-
heroes do it to save people
So here's my thing.
in the digital
Also,
plane.
Do you work for Square Brain?
It's like the Nolan argument where everyone's like, Batman wouldn't quit. Like the Avengers wouldn't quit, but all of them are quitters in the story. But
That's true. Yeah.
this is for neither here or there. I'm not going to talk about this game any longer because it's
Oh,
shutting
yeah.
down in September. And
How many of them have
Good riddance.
hung up their capes about 4 times a piece?
yeah, it's good riddance. September can't come fast enough. F this game. Anyway,
You
Winter
mean,
Soldier is dope in it
wait,
though.
what comes out September?
they're what are they sunsetting it? They're not closing it down because it's still going to work apparently, which is hilarious that they say it even works at all because
I
it's
thought
a
you said
broken
it's
piece
2
of
weeks.
shit. No, for Forza.
Delisting is in 2 weeks
Oh,
for Avengers.
okay.
They're delisting it and then they're going to start sunsetting it.
Okay.
Which there's some content I don't know how it'll work without
It's
internet.
not
I'm
going
tracking
to.
now.
It doesn't work now.
That's true.
It's
Avengers
broken.
doesn't track. Haha.
Yeah, but anyways, that's what I've been playing. While the servers were not working, I was up late by myself, and I was like, I'll check out XL Primal. I played the beta. I was not a huge fan. I had some concerns. I'm happy to report that a lot of the concerns in the beta they did address, but the game's just so barren, and it's like the weirdest game to ever to sit here and try to describe. When it was first announced, I thought it was going to be like a co-op experience, like a story, because the trailer was really cinematic and everything. Only part of that's true. Like, there's no co-op campaign. There's no campaign. But when you start the game, you get like a 12-minute cinematic. You unlock cinematics after matches, So it's like very story driven, and there's even like a grid you have to unlock, like a mystery and a puzzle to like figure out. The story's so convoluted too. Like, why can't it just be kill dinosaurs? It's the weirdest game I've ever played. So the concept is it's PvEVP, but not all the time, but we'll get there.
So it's just Destiny Gambit.
Kind of like you're basically racing another team through 3 randomly generated objectives, but it's like literally a race. If you're going faster than they are, it'll tell you like, hey, you're going faster.
So
it is kind of like
Gambit.
Gambit.
It's Gambit, yeah.
But there's like a defense mode. There's like a, kill X amount of dinosaur, kill certain dinosaurs, kill a boss. And like the actual shooting and the movement, it's so fluid and fast. Like that shit feels next gen. It's running off the RE engine, which if y'all ever played the newest Resident Evils, like it looks amazing. But it's like at the end of the day, it's like there's one mode at launch.
I was about to say, like, as much as I do have said I like the Gambit mode in Destiny and that system, I can only play it so many times before I'm done.
How do you feel about doing it for 100 hours to get everything?
I'm okay.
Exactly.
I mean, at least it's got dinosaurs.
That's the thing. Like, it's fun. Killing the dinosaurs is a blast. And, like, when you play with a good team and y'all are shredding, like, I have a smile on my face the whole time. The problem is I've only played it for about 3 hours. How fun is it going to be 5 hours? Especially now with one mode. And they've said they're going to support it. It is a little monetization heavy. Like, as soon as you get out of the tutorial, it's like, buy the season pass. And it's like, there's skins and stuff like that. There's no reason to sit there and buy it. There's no competitive advantages. It's literally just cosmetics. But still, I'm like, y'all charge full price for this game. It's a $60 game. If I didn't have Game Pass, and I love dinosaurs,
I'm just saying,
I love Capcom.
Fortnite's free to play.
Exactly. Like,
I'm not a big fan of games that have that type of season pass monetization system that don't offer anything offline.
oh, you want to hear the
Where
crazy
it's
part, though?
You guys are competing against other games that have offered the base game for free.
Yeah.
And your cosmetic season is extra on top of that again.
That's
I was going to go play Fortnite again. Like, forget
One thing
it.
if you charge $20 for your game, but you're charging $70, and you're charging me to like pay $30 for a season pass every couple months.
Well, the season pass is only $7, but the real shit
now.
kicker is there's loot boxes also.
Loot boxes?
You
I'm
have
out.
Dude, you have,
I'm out.
You have loot boxes and a season pass.
You literally in the car, play Exo Primal with us. Now it's a definite no.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, you play it for a couple hours, it's fun. Like,
Is it on Game Pass?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's worth like
I
literally
couldn't play it for free.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, the loop is a blast. You can literally switch your character anytime. Like, there's things about it that are cool, but it's just not.
Well, it's kind of what you were
modern,
saying. It's
man.
like it
That's the
doesn't feel
problem.
done, and if it wasn't on Game Pass, you've only ran into PC and Xbox players. You haven't seen a single PlayStation player the whole time you played it because who the hell would pay $70 for this?
And I don't blame them. Like, I'm telling you right now, if you got Game Pass, like, download it, check it out. Play a couple matches. The loop's fun. Like, the loop is a blast. Problem is, for how long?
I feel like I've heard this story before.
It's modern games, unfortunately. Like, how many games are like this now? Like, I'm tired of these damn games. But Dinosaurs, we're a dinosaur-friendly podcast, so I had to check it out.
We're going to Steam charts.
For Exoprimal.
It might just be like
Last
Game
30
Pass
days,
players.
average players 3,017. Peak players 4,522.
What's the thing? You can't charge for these kind of games, dude. And I think it's why the Game Pass model works well for it. But, again, I've played it for 3 hours. Let's see how I feel after 5, because I don't think I'm going to feel the same way. It's going to wear its welcome. There's one mode. There's one mode at launch. One mode. It's unacceptable. You know what? It's a weird choice for Capcom, too, to get into this. I understand they're probably going to go after that, monetary aspect of it. But it's like, if y'all would have just gave us Dino Crisis 4 like you're supposed to, or if this was a co-op single-player game, like, I guarantee you people would be playing it. Like, it's a damn shame, really, because it is kind of fun. But, again, for how long?
I think it broke a lot of people's hearts when they first saw it trailer, saw those dinosaurs. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, we're getting Dino Crisis," and it was this. Like,
It's just funny to me to see those numbers be so low.
I'm not surprised.
So low. I wish there was a way to compare to like Xbox's platform to see like who's playing on what platform in a game at any given point in time. I don't think there's a system like that, but I'd be curious.
I'll put it like this: when a developer puts it on Game Pass Day 1 for free, they probably know they're gonna, have something that's not gonna sell because they get guaranteed money from Game Pass. So, I'm not a corporate bigwig or anything, but like,
I won't sit here and deign to pretend I know how Game Pass works. I've always figured they got a check up front, and that was it.
yeah,
from what I understand, they get paid pretty well for it. So if it's something you think's kind of like, you go ahead and take that deal.
yeah.
But
It's like Outriders.
that's why there's a lot of indie games and stuff on Game Pass because like they probably make a killing compared to what they would without. But
yeah, but even then, like, why did they put Final Fantasy on Game Pass?
Xbox was like, please something, and they're like, how much? They're like,
Xbox
here.
did Final Fantasy something. Yeah.
They probably gave them a blank check and we're like, how much?
Maybe, yeah. It's just interesting that some of those games are on Game Pass rather than just being buy it in the store for flat cost.
I mean, you can.
You can do both.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can do both.
if it's on Game Pass, you can buy it.
Oh,
Yeah.
see what I know
Discount
about
price,
Game
yeah.
Pass.
You're new.
You're new, yeah.
We'll get to your pickups. But yeah, as far as my pickups, I went on an adventure looking for, was it F1 2013 and 14, because apparently this thing is just shot up like crazy. There's a whole thing with it, but like really, dude, I just want them for the achievements. They've been on our watch list. Nate and I do like a watch list where it's like they delist games and when the servers might be closing for the achievement's sake. So I needed to pick up the F1 games anyway. I picked up F1 15, 16, 18, and 19. And 12 and 11 for 360.
So, but everything but 13 and 14?
Yeah, the two bangers I couldn't find. Yeah. What?
It's a lot of F1.
Yeah.
Vroom, vroom.
Yeah. Well, again, watch list, not on the do it now list. But nothing fun there. I picked up Trine Ultimate Collection on Xbox One. I've wanted to play these games. I think I have them digitally. I didn't know it was a physical release, but it's all four of them. So that might be fun. This shovelware bullshit, Kakato Fishing Master, which I put in the Discord and no one gave a shit about. That's fine because
I don't even think I saw it.
It's okay because underneath that I had my Pokemon Stadium 2. I grabbed complete in box for $100.
That's probably why nobody commented on your fishing game.
Yeah, it was a total trap. I tried to get y'all, but it's okay.
A trap?
Yeah, like screw this Pokemon. Look at this.
Hold on, I'm going. Oh, that one.
Look at that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if
You're
you could have that or
curious.
Pokemon Stadium 2.
If you're curious, it's in the Discord.
Yeah, I mean it's magical.
You can also see the special Forza Horizon 2 edition
Yeah,
in there.
Yeah, that's why that's not on my pickups.
yeah, that's actually Nate's copy that he got mailed to my house.
Oh, custom Husky edition.
Yep, torn to shreds.
The
They grabbed it
disc still
off the
works though,
countertop.
right? They
Dude,
shoot the disc?
Oh, they ate the disc.
no.
Oh, no.
That's what he was like. He was like, "Let me borrow yours. We can install yours, and then put this one in." I'm like, "Nah."
Yeah, they like ate part of the disc. I'm like, I hope that.
God.
Oh, let's stop saying they. It was Luna.
Oh, I'm trying to get. Luna's my baby. I'm trying to get her out of
It's
it.
mine too, but
She knows that. She takes advantage of that fact.
oh yeah. As far as original Xbox, because I always got to pick up something for the original Xbox. I got From Russia with Love, James Bond game with Sean Connery's likeness. Never got to play it. It's one I wanted to play as a kid. The James Bond games are kind of like mindless fun. This one's third person, so it's a little different. I picked up one of the Xbox Exhibition Volume 6 disc from like the magazine. Those are just fun. It was $1, whatever. More interesting pickups. I got Rainbow Six on PlayStation, the Japanese import, because one of my little weird sub collections is like every port of Rainbow Six, the original one. I didn't have this one. The cover's different. It was cheap. It was like $10, whatever. And then Soul Reaver on Dreamcast. I've been looking for that one, and I got it for about $15 off. So
I don't see that often.
yeah, man.
If
Like
at all.
I already had it on PlayStation, but after playing Spider-Man and seeing how much nicer that Dreamcast version
Yeah.
was, I was like, I want Soul Reaver on Dreamcast. So snag that. And then lastly, I found a copy of Assassin's Creed Bloodlines. I had just the UMD. I don't really know what happened to my case.
You bought it when you got
If I had to guess, it was a dog.
No, I just remember you bought it off somebody like on a Facebook Marketplace when it was like fairly new,
Huh.
and like it was like cheap as shit. So you didn't have a case for it, but you bought like a lot. I remember this actually.
All right. Well, explains that. Well, now I have a case, so if anybody wants a UMD, it's all yours. Marvel Superhero Squad for 3DS, whatever. It was complete. It was cheap. And then lastly, Chinatown Wars for DS. It was a good price. I have the PSP version already. The DS has a little different features with the dual screens, so check it out someday. Barry, what about you? What have you been playing?
Well, what I've been playing. Actually, we'll go in pickups first because it leads into that. So I've had not as many pickups as Brian over here.
Hey, you had quality over quantity, though.
So we're going to go into the first one. We're going to ramp it up a little bit. First one, I actually picked it up yesterday, is a game I've been looking for a very long time, and it's called Galleon. Xbox exclusive. Atlas publisher. The horrible, most boo-boo looking pirate platformer game I've ever seen. It looks like absolute trash. and I wanted it so bad.
It's trash in the best possible way. I've messed around with it.
So I got it for a sweet $15.
Hey, nice, dude.
But the disc, I don't know about the disc yet.
Questionable.
There's some questionable scratches in that disc. So we'll see. If anything, I got it complete. So if I have to get a disc only somewhere, it'll be easier for me. Secondly, I actually got it this morning. I've always wanted the Crisis Core edition, the special edition of a PSP console. So it comes with, it almost looks like a shoebox. It was a Japanese exclusive, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core special edition PSP that was silver, and it has, I think, Squall, Cloud, and Genesis, maybe Sephiroth 2 printed on the back battery cover, kind of like what they did with the other ones, like Darth Vader.
That's sick.
I think Metal Gear had one printed on the cover too.
Yeah, it's cool too.
That's just kind of what PSP does in their special editions, is the battery cover is where the special little thingy is. Sometimes it'll be on the front, but it's usually just the battery cover that's different. Or the color is special. Like the Metal Gear one's a special, like,
Maybe
olive green
yeah.
color. So, and it comes with a little sword, and it comes with a game.
What's that?
Oh, yeah, it's got the logo on the other side.
Sick.
Yeah. And this one, specifically, I had looked at last week, and it was an auction. I use a proxy site. So if you don't know what a proxy site is, it's basically a website that uses... It's hard to explain, but a proxy site is where you can purchase things from around the world and ship them to a warehouse, and then that warehouse ships them to you. So if the seller in that country doesn't offer international shipping, they offer domestic shipping to that warehouse for the proxy site, and then the proxy site will send it to you internationally. I have not used it before, but somebody I know uses it quite frequently. Interesting thing about the shipping is you kind of really don't know how much the shipping is until after you've bought it, so I don't know how much the shipping is yet, because I have to ship it to the warehouse and then ship it out. So I'm a little scared, but
Light, thankfully.
But I got that. It was complete, and it came with a component cable.
Ooh.
An official Sony component cable that I've been looking for. I've been wanting to get one. So I got all that for the cool price of $115.
Oh, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
So we're going to see how much shipping is. Even if shipping is $50, I'm still like,
You're
if
still
shipping was
killing it.
$100, I would
Coming out
still
ahead.
be cheaper than what eBay is right now.
Dude, that's an awesome deal.
They're like
Yes.
$350 on eBay.
Yes.
Yeah, you're doing good.
So if you are looking for Japanese, this is specifically the proxy set I was used, but if you're looking for Japanese exclusive stuff, they are so much cheaper in Japan.
Yeah.
I actually found the same seller who sold that on the proxy site. He has an account on eBay that offers international shipping, because eBay does an international shipping program, and it started off at $250, like USD, free shipping. And I was like, I'm gonna try the proxy site. So I finally got me one of those. Who knows how long it's gonna take to get here? It's probably gonna be a couple months. And then. So that was a big purchase. And then my other big purchase is I finally joined the Xbox Series X family.
Yay.
I'm not going to sit here and say Starfield made me sell my PS5 to get an Xbox. But I got an Xbox because I want to play Starfield. I mean, at the end of the day, like, my options were to get an Xbox One X or upgrade my PC. And the cost was so much cheaper getting an Xbox. I mean, people who are primary PC players, I can see the benefit of upgrading very frequently, but like for me, my PC's pretty old. It functions pretty great. It's not like, all I did was play Final Fantasy XIV on it and it ran that pretty great, so I didn't need to upgrade it, but I'm at the point where to play this game, I would probably need, at minimum, a new processor, but my processor is so old that I would have to get a new motherboard to support new gen processors, and then on top of that, I probably would have to upgrade to at least a 30 series graphics card. So
Everything you're saying is why console game.
So I'm a primary console gamer. I do enjoy PC gaming, but like I'm primarily a console gamer. So PC's not a priority for me. So for me to spend $500 to get a unit that's already going to run this game versus who knows how much for the other stuff, like that's going to be more than $500 at minimum. So I was like, forget it, I'm just going to get an Xbox. And then I did the Xbox All Access. If you don't know about this program, it's actually pretty sick. It is a credit line, But the credit line is 2 years, 0 APR, so there's no interest on it for 2 years as long as you pay it off within the 2 years. They give you the Xbox, either a Series S or an X, and then 2 years of Game Pass. So after all of the math, I saved like $40 by doing this program. Other than, like, if I bought the Xbox and the 2 years separately, it would have been 40 extra bucks. Like, $40 isn't like a lot, but at the same time, like, I'm paying like $37 to $40 a month.
That's shipping for your Final Fantasy PSP.
Yeah, so like I didn't have to put out, $800.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Just, okay, there's $800 out of my bank account for an Xbox. And so that's what I've been doing. So I got Game Pass. We're looking in the Game Pass, and I've had it previously, but there wasn't anything on there at the time I wanted to play. So I didn't keep buying into it. I think that's when I started playing Final Fantasy, so I switched the funds over for that subscription. But I had a list on there, and My Time at Portia was a game I've been wanting to play. I have played so much of that game. It's like really addicting. It's not really a farm sim. There's farming elements, but it's a lot more crafting. It's like, it's kind of jank though. Like the game's pretty janky. It's like that lovable kind of jank. The characters are ugly as sin. Like the main character, like the mouth is so god awful. So I was like, forget it. So I switched to a male character, and then I put a beard on. So your options are bare face, Hitler mustache,
Jesus.
a little Hitler mustache, a little bigger mustache that's like the two. It looks like they just slapped little seaweed. Like, okay, like if you've ever seen the SpongeBob movie where they're like, we're men, and then the mermaid lady gives them little seaweed mustaches, like that's basically what it looks like. And then a beard. Like those are your only facial hair options. So the beard covered up the mouth because I was like, I can't look at it. Damn. Like this mouth is so ugly. It's like my partner is sitting there and they're like, why do you have this beard on? Like, what does your character look like? I said, let me show you. So we went to the barber shop, and I said, let me show you what this dude looks like without a beard. And I took it off, and they lost their minds. Damn. I was like, I wasn't expecting it to be that ugly. And I'm like, it's ugly, dude. I was like, I'm putting the beard back on. I don't want to look at that mouth. So I've been playing that game. It's like a combination of Sims meets Fantasy Life. If you've ever played Fantasy Life, I'm a big fan of that. So you have to craft stuff, gather stuff. It's a crafting gathering system primarily. There's some like fighting stuff in it. There's not really like farming like you'd think of like Harvest Moon. But the game is actually so much more in-depth than I thought it was going to be. Like not only is there like a super deep crafting system, the entire town, there's a relationship system that you can have with them. That you can get associate status, buddy status, you can be lovers on some of them, you can marry some of them, you can have kids later on once you upgrade your house enough. And then every single person has an individual bonus based off of what like relationship level you have. Like some will be like, okay, you get X amount off in the shop, you get X amount off in land. And then their like store system, it fluctuates every day, kind of like an actual economy.
Pretty cool.
So like some days it'll be like the market will be like 80%. And that's when like, okay, this is when I need to go in and buy the stuff that I don't normally buy. It's like basically 80% of full value. And then some days it'll be 114%. And I said, now's the day I got to go dump all the stuff in my box to get all the money I can. So the game I really enjoy, but there is a lot of jank to it. And it's not really made as a console game. I believe it was a PC game first. I think so. So they had to adapt it to a console and a controller setup, and like there are some quality of life, not improvements, but deprovements.
Sacrifices.
Yeah. Yeah, so it does make it difficult to do some things, but at this point it's muscle memory. I have to do like all of these crazy button combinations to do one thing, and I'm just like, click, 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 just doing it so fast. Support? I don't know. I don't know if it has it. I'm not sure. I know on the cloud, because I tried to play it on the cloud thingy, and it didn't offer an on-screen controller. I had to connect a controller to my phone to play it. Because some of them offer on-screen,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. It tells you when it doesn't, yeah.
So I don't know if it has KBM can support. But it's set up like it does, because there's a hotbar of items that you can actively use, and it goes from 1 to 9, and they're numbered 1 to 9, like you would be using the number keys to access those slots. So I'm not sure, but I really like it. It's one of those games that I'm just sinking a ton of hours into. I can mindlessly be like, I gotta go get wood today. And then, every day it's a day-night cycle and it makes you go to sleep at 3. So every single day I wake up in that game, I have to make a game plan where I'm like, okay, I have to do this today. I have to do this today. I have to go talk to this person. 2 days is going to be a festival. So I can't do anything on that day because the festival is going to take up all my time. I got to do blah, blah, blah before this and this and this. And then I'm like, I got to make sure I have my gifts for my people on the festival because I get double bonus points on festival days. I have to make sure I have the gifts and blah, blah, blah. So it's like it scratches my OCD brain very well because I'm just like, I can just like prioritize, like, okay, I have to do X, Y, Z. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to make sure this is set up. And then like the days I'll upgrade something on my shop, I spend the whole day rearranging everything because I'm like, okay, I have to make sure that my workshop items are close enough to this section so I don't have to run very far, and like I moved my bed in the house closer to the door so I don't have to fuck around in the house and I can just get out of bed and go straight to the door and leave.
Nice. Efficient.
Yes, I am like maximum efficiency in this game.
That's awesome.
So I'm having a great time, and it's kind of like my buffer period between now and when Armored Core comes out, because like Armored Core is the next game that I'm looking forward to, and that doesn't come out until the end of April or August. So between now and then is kind of my time to be like, okay, let me explore some new games, let me try some ones that I haven't been trying to play, and I honestly didn't realize my time at Porsche was going to be so long. It is a long game.
Yeah.
There's still parts in the map that I haven't explored, and I'm like, when am I going to get to this part? I've already been playing this game for like, I don't know how many hours I'm in. I'm at least 40, 50 maybe.
So every time I'm on Xbox, I see you on there.
Yeah, I'm literally on it
through it, yeah.
all of the time. So, yeah.
I didn't know they announced a sequel.
For what?
My time at Portia.
Oh, really?
There is a sequel?
End of September.
Don't tell me. End of September? Don't tell me that. Oh, no.
Get it. There's not enough shit coming out this year.
Oh,
My time at Sandrock, I totally missed that they made it, but yeah.
Sandrock? I think that's another town in the world. So it's a post-apocalyptic game.
I didn't know that.
I won't go too much more into it, but it's a post-apocalyptic game where your town is based off of, there are ruins around, and the ruins of like, imagine Horizon Zero Dawn, right? The technology has gotten so crazy that they went to war with each other, blew each other up, destroyed everything, and now like these people in the future are bringing everything up from the ground. There's like a church there that's like, hey, you guys can't, we shouldn't explore these ruins and relics because they're destructive and blah blah blah. And then there's a science research facility there who are like at headbutting with the church because they're like, we can't advance if we don't research this stuff. And they're like, but if you do research it, you're going to create weapons that destroy the first civilization, blah, blah, blah. And I said, shut up. I'm just trying to, what do you want me to craft? What am I crafting? And where can I buy my ducks? Like, that's what I want. I got to go to the pins, and I got to pick up my cow poop, and I got to pick up the little chicken poop, and I got to pick up my horse poop. And then I, for some reason, I have a blender that, blends, food, but it also blends fertilizer, and it also blends concrete all in the same.
Just wash it out.
Yeah, you just rinse it.
Dude's got a hell of a stomach.
So that's all I've been playing.
That's why his mouth's that way.
There are some other games that I've wanted to play, but that's taken my time. But now we'll go into the episode, Collector's Editions. All right, this episode is, I think, something that everybody can relate to or have dabbled in or probably have purchased something in, is collector's editions within video games. There are crazy, crazy amounts of them, all kinds of different ones, from being cheap to being absorbently expensive. I kind of want to just talk about what makes a collector's edition good. Has it killed the market? Are collector's editions even relevant anymore? Just kind of the overall how we feel about them, because it is a collector's edition. It's for collectors. So are they really for collectors, or are they just panhandled boxes full of shit garbage? So, do they have any retaining value? Do we even have space for them all? We can't keep up with them. What they may look like in the future. So, I tried. I really tried to research this. You giving me the eyes. What do you want? Okay.
I'm just showing you that I'm an active listener.
Oh, okay, thank you.
He's just bugging away.
I really tried to research some of the history of this because, like, it's not easily available whatsoever to figure out, like, what the first collector's edition was. So, home computer and home console for me are two very different avenues of collecting and gaming. And it's hard to define what a collector's edition is because there's so many different ones. To me, a collector's edition is something that has a standard game and then also has another edition you can buy that includes the standard game and then has something in it that has nothing to do with being able to play the game with it. So, not, there's some really old, I believe it was Magnavox Odyssey that came with board game pieces and came with overlays, but you needed them in order to play the games properly.
Right.
So I don't really consider those any types of extra bits as a collector.
Yeah, that's how the standard game was meant to be played.
Right.
Whereas a collector edition's a supplement or an additive to the game that doesn't necessarily have to do with playing the game the way it was meant to be played.
Right. And I view it as a collectible piece that you don't need it at all, but it kind of comes with it as a bonus. So the earliest thing I can find for home computers 1980 was Zork 1, and Zork 1 came with a map. That was, it had some, extra probably registration card and advertisements and stuff, but it had a map. And I'm not talking like posters, because most of the time posters had advertisements on them too, like with not including advertisements. Like, we're just gonna nix those because that's not really a collector's edition like item to me. So it had a map. It came with a map standard. There was no other version. So, but that was the first one I can find for home computer that included something other than just the game. 2 years later, Zork 3. This one is really interesting to me because it contains like what I think is a really good example of what a collector's edition could include. And it included a certificate of stock for 100 shares of Frostboss Company International, worth 1 Zork mid per share.
That's
and it was like
awesome.
Yeah, and it was like a legit looking, like embellished, embossed, like gold print on there, a certificate of like bought like stock, like you'd get in real life. But it's supposed to replicate like the company in the game, and like to me that's a little cool extra little piece. Infocom released, and thank you Nate for helping me with this because you know so much more about PC than I do. Infocom was notorious for releasing games with a lot of extra shit in them. The next one after that, they released a game called Planetfall in 1983 that included an ID card, 3 postcards, a recruiting manual, and a short diary. So like those are all of like the things you would find probably in something now as far as a collector's edition, but that came with the game. There was no other way to get the game, it just came with the game. So the earliest collector's edition I can find released alongside a standard edition for PC or home computer was Myst in 1993.
Doesn't seem that long ago, which is kind of crazy.
Right, and
Spoiler. It was.
And honestly, like that, this market really kind of boomed recently. This isn't like a long-withstanding thing. The standard edition was Myst, and then the collector's edition of Myst included an alternate box art and a mouse pad, so it had something else in it. But that's the first recorded one that I can find. Home console is a little different.
I was going to say it's actually really interesting for Myst because you probably might be a little bit too young to remember, but Nate, do you remember how big of a deal Myst was? Like when it was the first game I remember like reading about and being like hyped up as like this machine.
I remember Myst. It was a whole like, oh my god, look at what.
Right. This
wow.
is the future.
I mean, it was a point and click, but
Right,
like graphically, it was incredible.
Myst was a big deal even before it was actually on shelves.
It had hype before it came out. There's a lot of games previously that like once they came out, they've generated hype. This game had hype before it came out, and it's kind of like
almost makes you wonder if the company knew that like, hey, we can get a couple extra dollars out of this. Let's make a collector's edition.
So
Things haven't changed that much, have they?
Right. Home console, like I said, is a lot more difficult actually.
it's surprising.
So, and like I said, this is as far as I can. If anybody knows anything in between these or beforehand, let me know because I would love to know. But I did my darndest here. The first game that I can find that includes a map as well is The Legend of Zelda in 1987. I can't find an instance of anything for a home console previous to that, which the only thing previous we had to Nintendo was Atari 2600
Odyssey and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
But again, it's all shit that came with requirement for the game.
we were sitting there trying. I remember Barry and I were talking about this like in depth, trying to figure out this console one.
We were really thinking.
I was thinking the only weird Atari boxes I can think of were like ones that had controllers built in, but you needed that controller to play the game. So we didn't want to count those because you needed like the paddle controllers to play certain games.
Yeah, if whatever item came with it was necessary to play the game, I don't consider that in any form of collector's edition.
Right. So I think we both kind of came to the same conclusion with this one, where it's the ones you were going to say.
Now it is different when games come bundled with controllers. It's a special edition controller for, you know, the theme of the game, but you don't need that controller to play the game because you probably already have one. It's not packaged as like, hey, here's the Hey You Pikachu voice module thing that you need to play this game. Like, they're just special controllers that come with them. The next thing I can find is in 1989, Dragon Warrior included a poster that was an actual poster, and it wasn't a poster that had an advertisement for t-shirts or other games on the front. If you flipped it over, there probably was some stuff on the back, but another one I think of is Blaster Master, which came with a poster of like the Blaster Master cover, but there was a banner on the bottom that said like, oh, buy this t-shirt for X amount of money, and it was an advertisement. But like Dragon Warrior had a poster that was like a poster that you would put up on the wall. I had no other embellishments on it. It also included an Explorer handbook, and that is an earlier strategy guide type that I can think of. But like I said, this came with the game. There was no other version of a standard or whatever.
That was in every copy of the game, right?
It was in every copy, yeah. The next one I can think of is 1999 with Lunar Silver Star Story, complete on PlayStation 1. And this in the Lunar, it comes in a big box. It didn't come with a standard edition at first, but this one specifically came with extra stuff like a cloth map, the making of special disc, a soundtrack. Lunar 2 actually came with a pendant, like a necklace. So now we're starting to move into the realm of collectible tiny items that aren't just soundtracks or aren't just maps. Like actual specific to the game, you can't really buy this retail anywhere else. 2002, it also released a fan art edition that had different disc art. Working Designs is really notorious for releasing their games with multiple disc art styles. Like, I think it's Magic Knight Rayearth has 3 different disc styles for 3 different characters. Lunar is very notorious for having multiple disc art. I think there's 7 of them for one of them, like 7 different versions. And it's not really advertised anywhere, but it's kind of one of those things that you notice as a collector. You're like, oh, I have this character on mine. Which one do you have?
It's a good thing the game's really affordable too, so you can get all.
Yeah, so affordable, so you can get all 3.
Yeah.
But as far as the first collector's edition that came with a standard, I think it's got to be a Call of Duty game, if I remember right. That was really hard to track down because I kept getting them mixed in with PC. On the flip side, PlayStation 1 heavily pushed collector's editions bundles. And you see it with Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Grand Theft Auto, where it has a collector's edition and it has a white banner on it, and they come with like 3 games in the box. So I suppose like as a collector's edition, it makes sense. They're prepackaged, and then there's another standard edition you can get, but it didn't come with anything extra like art books or anything. So PlayStation 1, I feel like kind of normalized the word collector's edition, but it wasn't really until PlayStation 2 and Xbox era where it got pushed to what we have now. Especially 360 and PS3 is really where it just shot off into space.
Yeah, it's interesting because even though it says collector's edition on the box for the PlayStation era, to me, what makes a collector's edition is, like you're saying, the supplement and the extra, not just the fact that it comes with different games and different packaging. For me, it would be a separate SKU that comes out the same time as this normal SKU of the game, right?
Well, and that's kind of why like collector's editions now are synonymous with games in a different sense, because like if you think of collector's edition coins, they just come as the coin. It's a collector's coin that has a different stamp on it. I mean, they're standard coins, but they're not going to come with... Here's a really cool statue stand that you can mount your coin in, and here's some dice or whatever. Like collectors, like, you know, in other markets, like collector's edition comics. You know, you've got tons of those that are like, oh, polybag, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And there's a whole different realm of comic books for collector's editions, which they're not as prevalent as games. So collector's editions are very specific to a certain formula in games. So my question really is, have we gone too far? Have we gone too far with them? Are they still worth getting? Like, what makes a good collector's edition? Do we even care about collector's edition? Should we have a higher standard for them? Because, like, there's some shit ones out there.
Sure are.
There's some really expensive ones for you're not getting a lot. There's some where they're advertised for having XYZ and they either release without them or they released on horrible quality. Like, what about collector's editions, like, draws us to them? Like, do we want them? Do we continue to buy them? What do you guys look for in collector's editions? Are they really worth picking up? Because a lot of times you got to pre-order these day one.
Yeah. You ain't going to get them if you don't.
Especially nowadays.
Brian, what's your... I kind of know Nate's experience with some for the most part, because we talk about it a lot. But, like, Brian, what's your experience with collector's editions overall? I know you have a lot of them.
Yeah, I've got a ton, and that's the thing. Like, I understand that I'm not your average typical collector, right? Like, a lot of my collector's editions are still in their box, and it's not, like, ideal. It's not what I want. I have so much shit. I don't have the space for it. But that being said, there's certain things that I look for where I'm willing to spend more money to grab this collector's edition versus the normal standard edition, right? 9 times out of 10, I want a statue. Like, if you have a statue, I'm probably going to be a sucker and I'm probably going to buy it. There's a couple really solid ones that come to mind, like the God of War Stonemason edition. They actually had 2 different collector's editions for that game, which, if answer one of your previous questions, are we going a little overboard? Bro, they had 2 different collector's editions of that game.
I mean, that's normal now.
It's wild, man.
Look at Assassin's Creed.
GameStop puts out like a poster for games that have like more than one edition. They have little check boxes of like what it comes with, and it's like, why do I need a guide to see which fucking game I'm gonna buy?
Assassin's Creed was really bad for
was the
it.
first one I remember
There was
played.
another one I can't remember exactly off the top of my head right now. Oh, Red Dead.
Well, even like not even to go collector's edition route. Like,
Elden Ring.
let's just talk about like that kind of backtrack. Like Ubisoft literally had a theme there for a while. They had the standard game, then they had the silver, then the gold and the platinum. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it wasn't even a collector's edition. The collector's edition was after that. Mm-hmm. And all it was like maybe a steelbook, maybe a season pass. And then you'd get one with the statue and shit. But
well, now you've got tiers past that where they're like premium.
yeah. But me being the sucker I am, I see a statue, I'm like, hey, I want the statue. Like, I don't know. For me, if I'm going to spend that kind of money, like, I want there to be a premium piece in it where it's like, I know I can only get this.
Now, do you think about size of statue?
See, that's where I'm different. No, I have several statues that are so big they're still in the box.
So I mean, like, if you're buying a collector's edition and they include a 5-inch statue for the price of $250, are you still a sucker for it?
I've done it. I'm not proud of it, but like the Conan Exiles collector's edition, it had I think it was 5 or 6 inches, maybe smaller.
Smaller.
Yeah,
I want to say it was like 3.5, 4.
and I ended up buying
very
that.
It's
small.
not very tall. Yeah, I've
No.
seen it.
I love Conan, so I'm like, okay, that's different.
You also had a coupon. Would you have spent full price on it?
I mean, probably.
What about you, Nate? Do you have a standard size? You say if it's under this size, I don't want it?
Honestly, yeah. If it's an action figure, I'm not fucking spending $200 on it because action figures are $20.
It's true,
Not
yeah. Action
25,
figures
30
are a little
now,
different.
but
What about statues? We're just doing statues.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard for me not to take collector's editions piece by piece because I've been burnt on collector's editions. Mm-hmm. I remember the one that's going to come to my everyone's mind.
Let me guess.
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, well,
I've got a couple that I've been burnt on, honestly.
the Avengers was the other one I was thinking
Yeah,
of.
but that statue's fucking bitching.
Okay,
The
that's
game
true,
sucks.
yeah.
The shit that comes with it's awesome.
So
I'll come back to that one in a second, yeah.
NPC one, and it had an Infinity Stones like box, and you open it and it like it was supposed to like light up and shit. So I was like, man, this is like 5 fucking statues. And it was expensive. It was like $350, I think, maybe more.
I think it was 300 when it came out.
300, which like that's price
look
of a
my
console, right?
Hold on, let me look real quick. Marvel versus Capcom 4?
Infinite.
Infinite. Because I want to see what the promotional...
So it was Iron Man, Mega Man, Captain Marvel, and Chun-Li.
All right, here we go. 20...
Look at this fucking promo picture. Get out of here.
That's what I wanted to see, the promo picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm fuming.
So and you saw this.
It was $200.
Okay, it's $200. It's fucking no brainer. You get 5 pieces, huge oversized box, steelbook. Like it was totally worth it in my brain. 'Cause I love MVC.
Yeah, it says Mega Man X, Chun-Li, Captain Marvel, Iron Man, as well as a case holding replicas of the Marvel Universe's 6 Infinity Stones.
They're gorgeous.
Which if you...
Look at these things.
Yeah, look up the promo material for like what this collector's edition was, but if you are a fan of the Marvel Universe, like you know what the Infinity Stones look like in the MCU.
And these are big, and they look like they're glass. Like, they look very high quality.
Yeah, I was like, this is a steal for $200 all day. So I remember getting this gigantic box day one, bringing it home, opening it, held the figures, and the figures felt a little, they felt a little cheap. And I was like, you know what? I'm a little disappointed with the quality of the figures, but they're still put together nicely. They weren't horrible.
The figures are pretty decent.
They connect.
Yeah.
They look like the promo image Supply making. So I was like, I'm a little disappointed because they feel a little plasticky, but I'm like, they still look great and they connect and you kind of can make a little battle diorama with them. Like, it's worth it. It's $25 a figure. It's about an action figure price. So I was like, we're already ahead. Then I saw these goddamn Infinity Stones that look like fucking plastic Easter eggs. I stuck the fucking batteries in it. I was like, maybe they look better lit up.
That's not an exaggeration. They are smooth eggshell shape. Exactly like they took an egg and molded it.
So I'm trying to justify my purchase still. So I'm like, I'm going to go put batteries in it and turn the lights on. Look at it. They look even worse. I said, no, it's because all the lights in the house are on. So I went and turned all the lights on.
You tried, dude.
The windows are open. So I went and tried, like, this just looks like shit. And like, it took away, because before I opened that, I was okay with my purchase. Steelbook, 4 figures for $200. That's actually like a pretty good deal.
I've seen it. It's awful.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, they look so bad.
It's ass. So I do take size into effect in a little bit. I would like it to be bigger than 6 inches because it needs to feel like a statue, not an action figure. Personal opinion.
I'll say for me, it does depend on a case by case. There's some things I don't care. I'm buying it.
There's a few exceptions.
Recently there was one, Tales of Arise Collector's Edition has a statue in it, and it's like a half body of the 2 main characters, and one of them has a sword and one of them has a gun. It's way over there on that shelf.
I saw it last time I was here.
It's way over there.
Yeah.
To me, like, if it's less than a 10-inch statue, like, I don't really want it. Like, I want a statue. I don't want a little tiny figurine. It's a collector's edition. I want a collector statue. So, saw the box on this one, and I'm like, this is a little short. I'm like, I'm afraid this is going to be, like, short. But I was looking at it, and I'm like, this is a detailed statue. This isn't, like, a little, plastic tank. So I got it, and like I'm still happy with that purchase. That was it's short. It's not freaking 10 inches. It's probably a good 6 or 7, maybe 7 to 8. But it's very wide because you have to put their arms in because the weapons come out. The details on it's really good. So like I do look at them and say that better be a good statue or I'm gonna pass. And I've had passed on some things because the statues just look like tiny little toys. I'm just like, I don't want a little enemy, a minifigure that I'm gonna play fucking Dungeons and Dragons with, like, that size, like they include that a lot, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, the biggest center I can think of is what's the name of that game? Battleborn.
Yeah,
the collect. Do you remember that collector's edition?
It was due from the start.
I don't have it displayed, but it's a little bigger than a HeroClix.
Okay, have you guys seen the? I believe it's called Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. Collector's edition. It's the actually limited edition.
You used to have it?
I used to have it.
With the Dragon Ball in the package? Okay, yeah.
Yep.
And it came with a tiny itty bitty Broly. And so the package made it look like there'd be a Dragon Ball in the middle of it that you could take out and like hold. And it was a half shell with a sticker and a piece of paper behind it to make it look like a whole ball. And then it had this tiny itty bitty Broly figure that was ugly as sin. The game, and I think an extra DVD with like anime on it, and I got it for really cheap. I got it for like $10 because I'm a Dragon Ball fan. I was like, all right, like $10 is the right price. And then one day I saw they were going for like $200. I sold that motherfucker so fast. I was like, no, I do not care. Some other guy can have this. But that was like one of the most disappointing things. And I pulled it out, like the Dragon Ball. I was like, it's a Dragon Ball. That's cool. And then I unboxed it and I said, this is not a ball. This is a circular disc.
Sounds like they just gotta stay away from stones, spheres, anything spherical. Don't put that in a collector's
The figure
edition.
is disappointing though, because it's like something you can get out of a gumball machine size.
Yeah, it was like a
Gachapon.
Yeah, that's
Literally.
exactly what it was. It was sad.
See, I don't really mind if it's a smaller figure, if it's quality, right? That's really what I'm looking for in a collector's edition. You're gonna drop extra money on top of it. Don't give me some bullshit Battleborn figurine for literally $20 more than the retail game. But then again, like if you look at like Figma makes some smaller scaled figures, but they're super high quality. And again, I know we're talking about statues and figures. I'm a little more lenient on if it's articulated. but I don't necessarily look for just the size of it, because like a great example is the Spider-Man PS4 Insomniac Spider-Man game. The collector's edition statue is not the biggest, but it's quality. It's got a really heavy base. It's really detailed.
How much was that when it came out?
I want to say it was like 125, 150.
That's reasonable.
150 sounds right.
150?
It was
125.
reasonable.
It wasn't that expensive.
Let's look. But yeah, it's a really heavy figure. It's really quality. It also came with an art book.
I will say size is important, but quality over everything.
Absolutely.
If it feels nice and I feel like I'm getting what I paid for, I'm
So-
happy.
So, like, where's the separation between a collector's edition, including kitschy shit that you probably could pull off the rack in a store, and real game theme-based items? Because, like, you see a lot of the time, okay, the example, a notorious one for being one of the worst collector's editions was the World at War Call of Duty that came with the
Canteen.
flask. The canteen, yeah. It came with a canteen, but it came sealed. You were not able to open this canteen and use it.
That's pretty
So this is a
wild.
display piece.
It was a display
I
canteen.
think that's the only Call of Duty collectors that I don't have, so it's funny.
Like, there's ones that come with functioning watches,
Yeah.
but it's like, it's a there's a Growlancer limited edition for PlayStation 2. It has a watch in it. I'm like, what does this watch have anything to do with Growlancer? I'm so confused. But, like, the Call of Duty watch, or, like, the quote-unquote night vision goggles, like, those to me are nice themed pieces
Yeah.
that make sense for the game. And then you've got stuff that's, like, every freaking limited edition now has got a subpart art book and a soundtrack. For a soundtrack that doesn't even have the full score.
Right. I feel like some stuff, like, they just saw other collectors do it, so they feel like they have to follow suit. Like, I want my collectors to stand out and try to be its own thing. Like, the ones that don't try to mimic the other ones are generally the better ones. Like, the separation is my wallet. Like, how much I'm paying for it.
Yeah.
It's the separation, honestly. Like, I want to, initially, when we first talked about it, I was taking notes for myself. I was like, I still love these things, but I was like, when's the last time I pre-ordered one? It's been a while.
I have 2 pre-ordered for this year.
There's some bangers coming out this year, though. I feel like
Just
it's
2.
kind of turning a ship, honestly.
See, I missed one that I really, really wanted, and I haven't seen it since. I do have the God of War Stonemason edition. I wanted the Ragnarok one with the hammer. I haven't seen any pop up, man. Like, I wish I would have pre-ordered it.
It's like a dangerous game because some of these you used to see in clearance bins. You
Yep.
used to see like GameStop have a pile of them. And you're like, I'm just going to wait for the clearance. And some of them you never see again.
Yeah, it's literally a crapshoot.
Yeah, I mean, on that note, like I've talked about it before, Fire Emblem I have every single special edition, collector's edition for every single version that has released for that game. And I missed the Engage pre-order, and I said, we're not doing this. So I ended up having to pay secondhand, and it wasn't too much more than retail, to be honest. I got a
Thankfully.
little scuffed up box. It's not horrible. It still looks good. It was open, but nothing was missing, or the game was still sealed. I'm not turning into Three Houses. It's now $250 when it retailed for like $100.
Yeah.
Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light collectors. It's the 30th anniversary edition that Fire Emblem came out with. That was one of the most well done celebratory collector's editions I've ever seen.
The NES one.
Yes.
We all 3 have one of those.
Yes,
They're awesome.
because I
Yeah.
saw that the second they announced it. I said, I need this shit, and everyone threw a fucking fit because it doesn't have a game in it. It comes with a download code. It's a piece of paper with a download code, and everything else in that physical edition is just physical goodies. You got a thick ass art book. Pretty sure there's a soundtrack. I have everything stuffed in the
There's
box.
an NES
still.
box.
There is a
Awesome.
replica like NES box of what the Blade of Light would have looked like if it came out in the US, and then they have like a paperweight of an NES, like a 1-for-1 scale NES style cartridge, but it's made of glass, and they have a NES label on it.
It's
so
beautiful.
cool.
It's
I
gorgeous.
love it, man. I've got one. I love
And
it.
now, like, they delisted the game from the store, so that's the only way to get the game now. It's never going to release a physical copy of the actual game, but, like, they made a physical collector's edition for it. And the box is great. It's amazing. And I'm like, yeah. And then you guys ended up buying it because I was like, y'all, look at this shit.
We
This
saw
is
that, I saw
nice.
that card. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was
Right.
like, I got to go get one of these. It's gorgeous. And it wasn't that expensive either.
No, I think that one retailed for either 80 or 90.
Yeah, it was under $100. I remember that 'cause I was like,
And, like, the crazy thing about that one is there were so many of them out there. Like, I pre-ordered it new because I'm always afraid of missing Fire Emblem stuff because
rightfully so.
it's happened. But we would just go into GameStops and just see them. Just see them pop up everywhere.
Actually got mine. It was discounted because it was on a clearance, like GameStop clearance. So like,
Because they just had so many of them, and
I
they
used
did
a
that.
coupon too. So
Yeah,
I got it
they
for like
did-
$60.
They did that weird thing where they just ordered so many of them, and they were like, "Ah, shit!" And they immediately clearance a bunch of shit, and now like you can't find those anywhere. They're not expensive, all things considered.
I do think it's worth more than retail, though.
I don't know if it's worth more than retail without code either.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
that's the
It's an
so
interesting one.
the whole collector's edition without a game is
My app says $102 complete. What's loose in a digital fucking?
So I mean that does beg the question, like that's where collector's editions are going now. And one of the big ones that kickstarted this really was the Horizon Forbidden West, where it came with this huge collector's edition. It was a download code, so it came with a physical case for the game, but no actual physical disc. It was a download code. So you got a download code and then a whole bunch of extra shit in the collector's edition.
It doesn't bother me about the Fire Emblem one because they never made a physical version for Switch. So
Yes.
it's like I don't expect a physical version. Now, if there's a physical version pre-existing, that needs to be my fucking collector's edition.
Because I remember a limited run took a big shit for this. They had the helmet edition for Dead Space remake, and it didn't come with the copy of like the deluxe version of the game initially. They're like, oh, we're gonna get a digital code, which is a double sin for a limited run because their whole thing's like physical games.
Was
right?
the Dead Space game wasn't branded as a limited run game though?
No, they were just
collector's edition
pushing
was.
out the collector's edition. Yeah,
That's
no, it wasn't
why.
a limited number. It was just the collector's edition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why.
and they were
'Cause-
like, oh shit. So then they ended up going
'Cause-
back doing it and giving the digital.
Because Limited Run's a distributor for all kinds of
Right,
things now, so
that's
they
why.
have to specify on their website this is a numbered release from Limited
Right.
Run or this is a no limit. And some people just can't read, I guess. So like, I get it. Like you're ordering something from Limited Run, if you don't really know what's going on, you're gonna think, oh, this is a limited piece. But like, if it's not specified as a limited piece, then I think
But
that's interesting
when
to
your
get.
tagline's physical forever and you don't have a physical game,
It's a
there's
double
problem.
crime, right? It's
Yeah.
a double crime for them. But I was gonna say this was actually branded the collector's edition of the game was the problem, and it didn't come with a copy of the game except for the digital copy. Like you were asking earlier about what's required for me. At least a copy of the fucking game is
Right.
definitely required for me.
Right.
And if like the Ubisoft tiered thing, it better be the most highest tier version of the game if you're buying the collector's edition. Also,
Like there is absolutely no reason if you're releasing a physical standard version of a game that you cannot include it inside of your collector's edition.
Right.
Yep.
There's no excuse.
Turn me off from buying it if it doesn't have the game in it.
And you know what? You guys can release collector's editions with special edition steelbooks and have the game, but not like the normal case. That's fine.
yeah, that
That's
happens.
fine.
That's
Yep.
fine.
But where's the game?
yeah.
Don't give me a code.
Right. If there's a physical edition of the game already out there, it needs to be my fucking collector's edition. If not, like I won't buy you.
The only other exception is things that, you know, like they release collector's editions for Final Fantasy 14 expansions. Like you can't buy those anymore on
Right.
disc.
Yeah, that's
So it's all about the
fine.
extra shit inside of it.
And the Elder Scrolls Online expansions were the same way. They came with a statue and a steelbook, but it was still just the base game on disc and then a code for the expansion, which,
Yeah.
you know what, I'm okay with. It's like you're saying, there's no other viable option around it. There's not an individual SKU out there with that data on the disc. So this is like the best you get.
The closest you're going to get with those is like a different box art.
Yeah.
Because I
Right.
think the
Yep.
Morrowind one had a different box art
All
when
the
it came
steelbooks
out.
are different. Yeah.
The steelbooks are different. Is
the cover art for the disc is too different.
Yeah, okay. But that's as close as you're going to get for those. They don't actually have, okay, here is the physical individual expansion.
Right.
You need the base game. This doesn't include the base game. They don't do that anymore. They
Also
give you the
DLC
base
on
game.
disc anymore.
Because I mean, it's very rare where I buy both SKUs off the bat. Like I did for Spider-Man because it's Spider-Man. I'll make exceptions every once in a blue moon, but I'm not going to buy the collection edition and the normal game every time. Second hand down the road, if I need it for like a complete, original Xbox, sure, whatever. But at launch, hell no. Like 9 times out of 10, hell no.
Because now they ask so much for these damn collector's editions is a thing, and we were talking about it earlier. Like Barry, your Shadow of Colossus, like I don't know if it's labeled as a special edition or collector's edition.
Special edition.
Yeah, but see, that's worth the price to me. It's a little more for a little more. If it's gonna be a real collector's edition, it needs to be something tangible that I can hold that has to do with the game.
So do you differentiate, because there are standard editions, limited editions,
Yep.
special editions, premium editions, make up my own word edition,
Yeah,
day
literally.
one, blah, blah, blah. So like what makes, so like to me, in my brain, there's 3 tiers, right? There's a standard edition, there can be a deluxe edition, and deluxe edition's kind of like deluxe, limited, whatever. And then there's like the collectors, which is the big shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't release the big shit. Kingdom Hearts 3, great example. Final Fantasy 7 Remake, great example. They had a deluxe edition and then a quote-unquote special collector's edition that really wasn't packaged individually. It just came with a fucking motorcycle. But, like, do you still consider those collector's editions? Like, do you look for those? Like, are you upset that's where they're going to? Do you want more? Do you want less? Because, like, I'm at that point in my life where I really want less. I can't keep buying statues and helmets and all this big shit constantly for everything. So the tiny little packages for like $80-$90 are like a sweet spot because they fit on a shelf. I have room for them.
Actually display it.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with the saying that there's 3 different versions or whatever. Like I think there is a difference between like special edition. To me, that's like usually like a steelbook and an art book. And a collector's edition, you got to give me a little more meat to chew on. 9 times out of 10, give me a damn statue. It really just kind of depends on the game for me at this point. Like, I would love to have everything, sure, but it's not realistic, man. Like, I have so many cool statues that I can't display just because of space reasons. You know, like I said earlier, I'm not totally opposed to having a higher quality, smaller item. But that being said, if there is a deluxe version and it's really, really nice, like that Shadow of Colossus you have, I'd love to have one of those. It's just a steelbook and an art book, but it's so high quality and there's some stickers. There might be, you know, digital content or whatever. I'm not opposed to those, and I think, honestly, that's kind of the route we're going to go in the future as it gets more and more expensive to manufacture this crap, and the economy is kind of where it's at. And then if you look long-term, a lot of these don't really retain the value. Like, here and there, you know, your mega hit games are going to, but like you were saying earlier, a lot of these are in clearance bins pretty quickly. So the older I get and the more and more shit I get and the less space I got, I'm kind of in agreement, like, there's a fine line. Like, no matter what Spider-Man comes out, I already had a PS4 and I bought, you know, the Spider-Man PS4 and the game and the collector's edition. I bought the Game of the Year edition re-release. I bought the PS5 re-release. Like, Spider-Man I'm going to buy everything for. There's just certain things where I am willing to do more, but not everything, man. Like, and it's crazy. A lot of these cost as much as a fucking console nowadays, man.
Yeah, I think there's certain franchises that obviously are like the ones I absolutely adore. Like the next, whenever Dragon Age decides to come out, in 3 years from now, I'll buy that collector's edition because, like, I love Dragon Age.
And then Armored Core is coming out with the collector's edition that has a premium edition past that was an extra, what, $220 or something insane?
You get the one with the bay?
Yeah.
No.
See, that's the thing.
No.
I want this collector's edition, but I'm like, I know I'm not going to be able to get the bay, so I didn't end up getting it.
They were available.
They're still available.
Don't tell me that.
There's just for $250 extra dollars.
It was either 150 or 220.
220
extra dollars for just a garage to put your little figure in.
It looks so much cooler.
That was it.
Garage though. God, it looks so awesome.
It's cool, but that's a lot of money, dude.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
a lot.
So, like, I pre-ordered the regular one with the statue. I didn't get the garage. I said, that garage is not worth $220 to me.
If it came with another mech, all right.
If you gave me a whole fucking housing with, like,
armory.
other, like, an armory and, like, all this other shit, maybe, but...
Still, it's a whole other
That, like,
collector's
doubled the
edition.
price.
You could buy, like, another one. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
It
was a lot of money.
So expensive for what it is.
Hold on. Actually, before we say that, because that game won't be out by the time this does, so...
Yeah. See, that's the thing though. Like, I think that's a really cool collector's edition. That's up my alley because it's like figures and shit, but it's not like a series I love. But then again, I kind of want it.
$450.
As much as I used Series X or PS5.
Standard edition is $60. Deluxe edition is $70. The collector's edition is $230. And it comes with the game, the figure. All right, it comes with a 7.5-inch figure, a steelbook, pin badges, a set of 4, 45 stickers, an art book, hardcover, 40 pages, and a soundtrack. All right, $250. That to me is like the standard nowadays.
Yeah.
That's what Final Fantasy should have been.
Yeah.
$250. For $450 for an additional $220, you get the same stuff, and then you get a garage to place your Armored Core figure in.
It's a sick garage, but goddamn, it's a lot of money.
We're asking console
The
prices.
garage is a smidge over a foot. $220 for the garage. That's asking too much.
$250 is too much for all of this.
You know what? They probably cost them $13 to fucking print those.
That's the thing.
So, like, when is it too much? Like, when is it they're just taking advantage of us?
Stuff like that.
Well, Elden Ring had some banger collector's editions from the same publisher and the same developer, and now Armored Core 6 honestly feels like way too much fucking money for little to nothing.
It's because they know people that love FromSoft will sit there and pull that trigger. That's their, like you said, when they're taking advantage of us.
I
think you just
mean,
answered your
yeah,
question, bro.
that's true. That's true.
That's the thing. Like, they know certain things they can get away with it. They would never do this on some, just average run-of-the-mill game. They'll do it for Armored Core because this thing's a hyped-up machine.
You really notice it more in the big games that come out. Like, they aren't afraid to put out a fucking $450 collector's edition because some doofus like us, well, I haven't bought one forever, but some doofus will go out and spend $450 on it.
Yep.
I think the most I've spent on one collector's edition is $350.
What was it?
Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I can't remember how much the first Soldier edition was, but I wasn't walking away without having that.
I think it's worth it.
What's the thing for you? Yeah, man, that's a great purchase because this is like just looking at the shelf that you're sitting in front of. It's all Final Fantasy. You love Final Fantasy. And
I will say I don't pre-order collector's editions.
I haven't done it in a long time.
Actually, I lied. I do that.
I used to do it a lot. That's the thing. I've slowed down. One, I think the price. It's like you're saying. I really want this Armored Core, but like, damn, man, like
$450. Nate, if they released a special edition Elder Scrolls 6, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, would you buy it?
Like the console special
The whole-
edition? Or it's just like the normal console with the game?
The
in it?
normal console with the game with it on the box.
No, I'd wait to find a box at like a local game shop for the same price as the normal one and buy it. Like,
So you'd think you'd be able to just find the box?
I would take the gamble. It's not, if it's a special edition console, I'd probably buy it. But
Okay, if it was a special edition console that was the lamest thing you ever seen, would you still buy it?
no.
Because Final Fantasy 16 has collector's edition plates,
Yeah.
only in Japan. It's lazy looking.
Really? See,
It's lazy.
because I have a limit, man. Like, as much as I love Elder Scrolls and Dragon Age, if it looked like ass, I'm not going to spend a console price on it. Like, I would just take the gamble, find it cheap, get a deal. And if I don't get it, I will make my bed and rest in it. Because there's other shit out there I'd rather have that's cooler to me.
it really just depends. Like,
Even if I love the game, like if it's not as cool, like I'd rather just get something I want than have to have everything Elder Scrolls,
that's me though. I have to have everything Spider-Man. I got underwear and t-shirts, bro.
I will say, PlayStation has an advantage right
Yep.
now because they have swappable plates.
Yep.
Xbox doesn't have that. And so now I'm sitting here being like, damn, are they going to do this like more? Because like I'll buy
They
plates.
should. That'd be awesome.
I'll buy
Bought
plates.
360 face plates. Sign me up for PS5 face plates.
They're
Let's
going to
do it.
have fucking Final Fantasy 7 Reunion, whatever the fucking shit it's called. They got some plates on there that's got,
Sign
I
me
don't
up.
know. That, I'm not buying that. That's lame.
I think it's cool.
That's lame.
It looks okay.
It's black.
If it like lit. Now, see, do you remember the 360 cases that like you could entomb your console with and they lit up and screamed and shit?
The Mass Effect one?
Yes.
I had one of those.
They
They
need
were
to do,
awesome.
Like shit like that with these. That would be dope.
I wish.
Like have it had lights. If that had lights behind it and it like made Choco
Yeah.
squeals, like that'd be fucking hard.
It made that woo, like
Yes.
little chocobo noise when
See,
you turn
it's
it
like,
on.
We would
the
all
little
buy
warble.
that. We would all buy that for our
That would be pretty
PS5.
badass.
Yeah.
I mean, I do miss that era of special like collector's editions for consoles that were themed and like you turned them on and it made the noises. Like Xbox was super into that. I got the
Yeah.
R2D2 one. He makes a little R2D2
Yeah.
noise.
It's a little off topic, but they've gotten so lazy with special collector's editions.
really
consoles.
have.
Mm-hmm.
So
Dude,
lazy. What's the last one to come out? The Master Chief Series X.
I don't even remember it.
Yeah, you cannot find it anywhere, but they had a
black and gold trim. with
It
the
was
little
like
sparkles.
a pattern. Yeah, it was still
Whack.
lazy.
For consoles, like handhelds always have the best special
Yeah.
editions in my opinion.
I
But like
agree.
the last really good ones I remember was the Destiny 2 one, which I thought was
It was dope.
slick.
Yeah.
Was nice. A lot of people don't like it, but I'm super into that. It looks like the Steelbook. The Vader one was cool.
Yeah.
The Spider-Man one was badass.
It's really simple, but it's really, really cool. That white spider stands out so much on that
Yeah.
red. It looks so, and that controller is so sick, bro.
you should
I have a sealed one. I want to open it so bad.
just open it, dude.
Yeah, but I want to scuff it up.
Are you planning on?
I'm gonna encapsulate it and grade it so I can't.
I mean, honestly, there's no really reason. Like, there's no real reason to open that up.
well, I'm
But
gonna encapsulate it. So
like the days of good
Trade it for a
special
bubble
edition
bubble.
consoles are like done and past. It's just Switch, and Switch has been lacking lately.
yeah,
Like
The Zelda one just came out, and I think the Tears of the Kingdom one looks really cool. Animal Crossing one was meh to me.
I like the one you have.
The Pikachu one,
Yeah.
that's one of the cooler ones.
I need to get a new Switch, so I stop using that one. I'm scared.
They had the Pokemon Purple and Scarlet and Violet.
Scarlet and Violet
That's
came
okay.
out with one. I mean, this Pikachu one's like pre OLED, so
Yeah.
I'm holding out for I mean, special edition consoles, like, I'm more inclined to buy if they've got a really good looking one for a franchise I really like.
Right.
They
It's
had
gotta be
the
special.
They had the Monster Hunter one. We never got it here. I was pissed.
So slick.
Slick, dude.
That one was awesome, but collector's editions, like, all in all, I think are kind of a dying breed.
Mm-hmm.
People have to be super selective about it, and I think publishers are noticing that.
The thing I've noticed is you used to be able to not even have to pre-order it because they got so popular that the game stores would just buy so many of them you could wait.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think they only make about what they like. They have people pre-order it first and then they like create them.
Yeah, it is
You
hard
don't
to
get
say.
extras.
It's hard to say.
Because I used to buy like my colors. I'd wait and just kind of find them and to get scraps of stuff. That's how I've gotten most of mine like second hand. I only have a few that I've spent full price on.
It's almost turning that with standard games too.
Honestly.
But like collector's editions now, like there's not really a retail store other than Best Buy. GameStop's phasing out. Best Buy you can kind of get them, but even with Best Buy I have a problem getting games brand new.
Yeah.
But it's like if you don't buy, I go to the publisher's website and buy them from publisher's website. Like I just went to Falcom and bought a couple, like pre-ordered a couple from Falcom because I'm like really into their games. But they're not collector's editions. They're like the ones that have little art books or
Special
whatnot.
editions.
Yeah, those kind.
Part of it too is you can just buy everything off manufacturers' websites now. You don't have to do like a GameStop pre-order or
Right.
they'll just make it themselves and ship it themselves. Then you got to worry about someone stealing off your ports or whatever. But
Yeah.
sorry,
Had that happen. R.I.P. That's why I moved.
but they don't really need the game stores and stuff anymore.
No.
Like that's why even GameStop they'll cancel if they don't get enough pre-orders. They'll just cancel pre-orders.
I mean, the Armored Core that I pre-ordered, the only place I can find to pre-order it was literally their website. So
I didn't even do it anywhere else.
and I had to make a whole crazy Bandai account and shit for it, and they're waitlisted on their own website. Square Enix has been doing their collector's editions on their website for a long time. That was the only way you could get the First Soldier edition for Final Fantasy VII. Pretty sure this is the only way you can get the Final Fantasy 16 ones through their website.
Yep.
Pay fucking $50 in shipping.
Which that's a whole thing in itself.
Jesus.
By the way, I fully agree with your sentiment that collector's editions are dying. So I'm just skimming ahead looking for upcoming releases. I'm all the way into August. There's only 5 games.
Well, think how many
guessed every
AAA
single one of
titles
them.
come out a year now.
Yeah,
It's not like it used to be when it was just every month.
right.
So
That's the thing. It's Armored Core.
I just
Street
remember
Fighter.
the last one I actually bought was the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater Remaster collection because it came with a deck, and I was like, I want this fucking deck. That's,
see, and that is like a piece relevant to the game.
Mm-hmm.
yes,
It's themed to the game. Those pieces I think are really interesting. Other than just having could you imagine if they had a Tony Hawk figure? That's stupid.
Yeah.
Skate deck, smart.
it's crossed over with multiple things I collect already, so it was like, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
What if it was a tech deck? Did you still get it?
same price? No, but I'd pre-order for a tech deck.
Let's just say, give me one collector's edition you regret buying, and give me one that you wish you did, that you missed out on.
I think the regret buying super easy, and we've already discussed it. I'm still upset about it. That Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimate. For one, I love Marvel vs. Capcom. Like, I've bought almost every single game from it. Like, spent hours and hours of time. For one, the game wasn't the best. And then for 2, in the collector's edition's a disappointment also. Man, what a slap in the face. Let's see, as far as ones that I love that I don't see very often, the Elder Scrolls Online ones are super cool, man. Like, the figures aren't the best. They're kind of like plasticky. You can kind of bend them. But they're really high quality as far as detail. They're weighted, so they're not going to fall over. They look really nice as a set, too, if you line them up and even have the box behind them because the boxes are pretty ornate. I think they're really slick, man.
So yeah, Brian, the one that stands out for most of you guys is Marvel vs. Capcom, and I don't even have a close second. It really,
Marvel's Avengers.
I don't regret that one. I regret how much I spent on it because I saw it everywhere on clearance afterward. But it came with the Captain America statue that was gorgeous. It's actually, I have it in a glass cabinet. I display it.
I mean, there's still some regret there.
You know, the price.
Yeah.
I feel like for what I actually paid for, I got the money's worth out of that collector's edition.
All right, that's
even though
fair.
it was expensive, it wasn't one of the more expensive ones I've ever bought. I did feel like I got my money's worth because like the Black Widow, every character had their own item in the collector's edition, and they all feel really quality. Like the belt buckle for Black Widow is probably like a $50 belt buckle by itself. It's really high quality. Everything in there feels legit, and it's gigantic, and everything's like good size, good quality. So I don't regret it. I actually really like that game too. I don't know what shit's on that game, but that game's pretty fucking fun in my opinion.
All right, give me a game other than Marvel vs. Capcom.
one that we own that we regret.
I've got a lot of good ones. I'm trying to look through my collection and find ones I regret. Shout out to the Yakuza 6 premium edition with the rocks glasses and shit. They're all etched.
Those are nice.
Super
Very
slick.
I've got plenty that I like, but I'm trying to think of like.
See, I would say Batman Arkham Origins just because it's plastic, but it lights up and it doesn't look horrible once you have it out of the box, you know? It's tougher to find ones I regret because I am very selective when I buy these things.
Mine, obviously, is Kingdom Hearts 3. I've spoken to that one to death, so an alternative is the Soul Calibur 5.
Oh, yeah,
Quote,
I bought
unquote.
that piece of shit too.
No, not Soul Calibur 6.
Oh,
Soul Calibur 5.
What was 5? The book?
The stupid-ass book.
Yeah.
All right,
Forgot that one.
I was so disappointed in that, and like Soul Calibur is like my favorite fighting game. They've never had a good collector's edition, period. Period. So I honestly, I did buy that and then sell it like very early so I could get as much money as I could out of it, and now I ended up picking up one for like stupid cheap later, but
I was gonna say most of the collectors I don't particularly love. I bought really cheap secondhand because I knew going in that they were kind of gonna be disappointing. Like the first Assassin's Creed games collector's editions statue was like the size of my pinky,
oh yeah.
but like I spent $10 on it,
Statue is a strong word for
so I
that
don't
one.
regret my purchase. Like I knew going in, like I've had a couple I buy that are like probably wouldn't make the cut paying full price, but I wouldn't pay full price for, so I didn't. There's a couple that I would have paid full price that I found cheap. Like I don't particularly have a huge adoration for this franchise. I've played the whole thing. Just Cause has a great collector's edition for 4. It's like the full size grappling hook. It comes with a really nice base. I spent $20 on it. It's a great collector's edition. Spent $15 on a Wolfenstein 2 one, but it comes with like a G.I. Joe full size. Fantastic, worth the purchase. Great game, steelbook.
As an action figure guy,
I have
really
one,
like that one
that I really regret not pre-ordering because I was like, I'll find it everywhere. And that's Dragon Age Inquisition. That thing's a ghost. You don't see it online. When you do, it's not complete. And it's like $350, $400 when you do find it. That's the one I'm like really kicking myself for not buying. Like obviously Witcher 3 because it's so expensive now. Like,
Bro, I have the Witcher 3 statue, and I don't have the rest of the collector's edition stuff. And like, man, I want it.
it's so
Much good shit in
awesome.
there.
Yeah.
And it's expensive still, and for good reason, because like that's honestly, CD Projekt Red does a really good job putting out collector's editions. Like I don't care how bad I'll sit here and say
Yeah.
Cyberpunk was, like their collector's
statue
edition
was
was
dope.
really
It's
good.
insane. It's
tall,
gigantic.
tall statue.
That's totally worth the purchase. That's why I saw it on clearance too for a while, and then it like went crazy.
I regret not grabbing the Skyrim collector's edition on 360. I think that's a really cool statue too. With
It's not super expensive though. You can get it for like $110 now.
Just don't see them. People don't come off.
I always see the Alduin statue by himself.
Yeah,
Right.
so we just saw it recently.
Yeah, I want the full box and everything too.
This isn't that expensive.
complete.
Well, it's German.
Yep.
No game. It comes with a pick lock tool set.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was the first like real collector's edition for Dragon Age because the other ones are just like steelbooks or like deluxe editions. This is the first like real collector's edition for Dragon Age. So I really regret not getting that one. This is gonna be really quick because I know we're running out of time, but there's some regional specific collector's editions that are like jaw dropping. Have you ever seen the Bayonetta UK one?
Two worlds.
Yeah, Two Worlds. The Bayonetta collector's edition for the UK and Australia has like a replica fucking gun, dude.
That's awesome.
It's so sick.
Huh.
We didn't get shit like that.
I really like collector's editions that include bags. I used to have the infamous bag, the sling bag. I have it. I swear to God, I have it somewhere. I don't know where it is. Can't find that thing. It had a little Sly Cooper patch on it. I used it in school all the time, but people shit on this bag. But the Destiny 2 collector's edition that came with the Frontier bag, I really like that thing. I actually might buy one, but people are like, this thing's ugly, and I'm like,
I think it's cool.
that's one that I wish not. Honestly, I wish I didn't buy it when it came out. I'll just buy the bag because I don't want the rest of the stuff. But I do regret selling my Destiny 1 collector's edition. It had an electronic ghost in it.
That thing's cool.
That like spoke and talked. And the problem was the box was so big. The box was huge, and it had like a plastic tray in it to hold some other stuff. And it looked like it almost looked like an Ingram in the game that was kind of flattened, but it was like this big. It was massive. Cool. And I sold it, and now I regret it because I want that little electronic ghost. Because the ghost was like a life-size ghost, but the box is so big I had nowhere to store it. So I do regret getting rid of that one, and I wish I still had it. But there's not too many collector's editions that I'm like, damn, I wish I would have got that one.
I have more of those than ones I was patient and found. I have a couple that I regret not getting.
So what if there's a game that's released down the line, it's like an anniversary, it's a game you already own, and then you buy it again as a collector's edition? Like, for example, Limited Run did the Doom with like the fucking helmet and the keychain, a floppy disk and all that shit. Is that something you're opposed to?
I've done it multiple
What
times.
if they did that with like the PS1 release of Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, but is there any sort of hesitation because it's a game you already own?
No. Do you know how many copies of Final Fantasy own I have?
Final Fantasy is a horrible example because I know you're going to buy it. But what if it's like, let's say it's a really expensive game that's unattainable on price, like Tronbon. Let's say if they do an
No,
anniversary
I'm not getting an
Tronbon.
anniversary Tron. I don't have a connection to Tronbon.
Yeah.
To me, like a lot of those really big collector's editions, like I need a connection to.
Yeah.
And there are some people out there who will buy every single collector's edition to keep up to say they have everything. I can't do it.
See if it's on Xbox. I want to.
Like, okay,
This generation's making it really fucking tough, though.
great example, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and we're going to end on this one, but Mass Effect Legendary Edition did not have a collector's edition come out with that game, but they did have a helmet. They had a 1/1 scale helmet that came with a special steelbook that was like their version of collector's edition. I did buy that shit, and it was expensive.
Yeah. Want
And
to talk about regret?
and it sits on a shelf.
Oh, I see. Memories
It
on my
looks
computer.
nice. It lights up, too.
It's badass.
So, yes, in that aspect, I will, because they re-released that game. They had sort of a collector's edition, and I said, yeah, give me that. If it was a tiny 8-inch helmet, I'd have said, fuck you, no, but I can wear this thing, so
See, Mass Effect's one where, I regret not.
It's
buying
really
that.
big on
I
me.
don't know why I didn't.
I'd look like an 8-year-old child trying to wear a football helmet with that on. Nate, Brian, do you think there's a future for collector's editions, and will you keep buying them?
I think they're gonna make them to the point where no one buys them, and then like there's gonna be a little gap where like they kind of die, but they'll always come back because they'll do it right again eventually. Then we'll go another 2-3 console generations where they screw it up again, they die out, and they keep coming back.
Okay,
But
let me rephrase it. Collector's editions that are going to come out into the future when there are no more physical copies, will you keep buying them?
it'd have to have something real nice in it. My go-to answer is no, but there'll be exceptions to everything.
Elder Scrolls 75.
It better be pretty.
Physical edition collectors, but digital only game
Yeah.
because they're not printing games anymore.
I think you've already seen the future. That Fire Emblem's a perfect example, right? It's a digital game that got an awesome collector's edition. Call me Tootsie Pop because I'm going to be a sucker and buy that boy every time.
I hate you.
I will agree with Nate. No, it better have some good shit in it.
If
Yeah.
it's got shit that like, if it had like a, good figure or something worth my time, yeah, but like I'm not gonna go out and let it buy it if it sucks.
Square Enix, please hear me.
Right.
Speaking out to the gods, stop making your shit so expensive. Thank you so much. Anyways, that was our episode on collector's editions. What do you guys think of them? Do you like them? What are your favorite ones? What are the ones you regret buying? What are the ones that are just hot garbage? Would you spend $1 million on a collector's edition? Would you buy a supercar for $190,000 for Grid 2 custom made?
It's a pretty good deal if you think about it.
Only if you're dead mouse. That's our episode. Once again, real quick, just follow us on social media if you're interested. Nate, what's the next episode?
Next episode is a franchise I love, but a game that is kind of the black sheep of the franchise. Golden Axe: The Duel on Sega Saturn. It's a fighting game in Golden Axe for some reason. We're gonna explore.
Was this on the arcade?
No,
What was the arcade one?
that is Revenge of Death Adder, which is a fantastic game that they haven't put on anything else,
Okay.
which they should have probably put on Saturn instead of this, but we're playing this instead.
All right, Golden Axe: The Duel on Sega Saturn.
Sorry.
Which I don't think we've had a Saturn game until now.
Nate's
Die
Die
Hard.
Hard.
I guess our first one.
Nate's
Die
Mr.
Hard.
Mr.
Die
Micro
Hard was
and
CD,
Mr.
right?
Saturn.
Oh shit, I thought it was CD.
Nope.
Mr. Micro and
It's our
Mr.
first
Saturn.
fighting game. Sorry. It's awful. Spoilers.
Well, for reference, we have another fighting game after this one.
Secret.
It's secret.
It's a lot better than this.
Maybe, I don't know.
No, I promise you.
All right, Golden Axe: The Duel on Sega Saturn. All right, so Nate, based on Dante's Inferno iteration, tell us a story of something from when working at a store and rate it 1 through 9 based on the horrible level of hell it is.
Okay, I'm gonna pull out like a 6er today.
A 6er?
Yeah, because in
Heresy.
the grand
I don't know. This one sounds like a 3 to me, but
in the grand I'll add some context. I think for some people no, but all right. So to fill in a little backstory, this was a Thursday night, and I work a different job from Friday to Sunday. It was a 12-hour shift job where it's pretty labor intensive, and I knew I had to go in the next day, but I was trying to close. So Monday through Thursday, I actually opened and closed a lot at this time when I was working. So I had a gentleman come in about an hour before closing, and we had just bought some pretty expensive NES games. I think it was like Felix the Cat, it was Bubble Bobble 2, and there's another like $500 game. I don't remember what it was, but there were some bangers, okay? So I'm trying to get a head start in closing because like I'm trying to get out of there because I got to go work 12 hours tomorrow. So I've got the 2 other people that I'm in charge of, more like parenting at that point. You know who they are, but yeah. So trying to get them to do their thing, which like apparently I had a gift and they were like pretty good for me. But so I'm trying to actually like, run the register, do kind of pretty much everything other than clean up and close. But a gentleman comes in saying he saw him online, wanted to do a big purchase. I was like, okay, cool. He asked to look at them. I didn't have a problem opening them once, so like, yeah, they're real boards. I tested them myself, looked at them. They're all legit. And it's a collector we bought them from, so like she knew what she had. She took really good care of them. They're all like pretty immaculate condition. But like I said, I think the cheapest one was like $450. They're all around the $500 range. So like I get taking your time to like make an informed purchase. He'd been sitting there for about 50 minutes trying to take pictures, look at angles, and he's like, "Can I look at it?" I'm like, "I don't really want you. I'm not going to pass you a $500 game, so you're going to try to sprint out of the store with it." So I was like, "No."
Ain't the first time I'd seen that.
But I don't mind looking at everything once. I get it. It's a big purchase, but he kept asking me to unlock the damn cabinet, get a game out, and these are shrink wrapped. Like we tried to keep dust out of them and stuff, so we used a shrink wrap machine on them. I had to cut them open like 3 times a piece, and I was like, "You need to pick one that you're kind of thinking about." I'm like, "It was 5 minutes till we closed, dude. I've got stuff to do. Make a decision." He kept stalling. Initially, he was coming in and leaving, so I was like, "Are you gonna like pull out a pistol and rob me? Like, what is this? Like, come on." Finally, he like just pointed. I was like, "Hey, you need to leave. Like, we're closing. I'm gonna just turn the lights off." "All right, give me 5 more minutes." I was like, "No, like, you need to leave." We're actually like, by the miracle of whatever you believe in, done cleaning, done straightening up the store. All I gotta do is count the register down. But I need to know if this guy's. I want to get yelled at if I don't. Hey, I ran a guy away that was about to drop $500 in the store, so like I didn't really want to just like, "Hey, F off." After the 3rd time, literally, of opening Bubble Bobble, he knew I was getting irritated, so I went to one of my guys I was managing and asked him to do it, and I was just like, "No." Like, because I know my brother was really interested in buying Bubble Bobble too. I was like, "This dude's in here about to buy it." I was giving like a play-by-play at first, but I got exhausted just trying to keep up with this dude.
It's exhausted.
It wasn't talking about like you said, it's like a 3 on the grand scheme of things, but the fact that I knew I had to go work a 12-hour day and like I knew we were gonna get bombed, like it was a horrible day coming up, so. This dude like takes the most dramatic, stoic chin to fist, like on his knee, literally sitting on one knee, just staring at it. I'm like, "Are you gonna buy the game or not, man?" I'm gonna pass.
Classic.
So then I was like, "All right, well, see you next time." And he just wouldn't leave. He starts looking at other stuff in the store. I'm like, "Dude, you got to go. Leave." So finally, I literally just had one of my guys take a vacuum load and start vacuuming where he was to get him to like push him out of the store, and actually like a cat or a bug, just like drove him out of the store with a vacuum. But I don't think I think similar to like serving, there's certain courtesies. You don't come in when there's like 15 minutes left of the restaurant opening and order a bunch of. You can get something to go real quick. That's one thing. But if you're gonna sit there and take your time and like people got lives, we're trying to close up. And if you're not even gonna purchase it. I've dealt with this guy multiple times. He never bought anything. He just looked at expensive stuff and never bought it. So in the grand scheme of things, it's a pretty tame one to start, but we'll get progressively worse. We're trying to save like the all-time classics for later. But
I got classics.
I'm gonna 6 might even be a little high.
I got dirty, disgusting classics.
I'll put this one out of 5 just because if I didn't have to go into their job, I wouldn't even care. I'd be like, this is normal retail crap.
5th level of hell.
It ended up working out for Brian, so I was like, "Hey, you didn't buy it," and that's Brian's copy of Bubble Bobble 2, so...
Yeah, it has a happy ending.
Well, it's real, because I opened up that board 3 times, which I don't know how many of you guys are screwed with NES cards to check for authenticity. It's not hard, but it's annoying if you're trying to keep shrink wrapping it and putting it in a glass case to get the lock, and then unlocking the glass case, getting one of the other games out.
It's a 5th circle of Hell's Anger.
It's a good 5th circle. We'll go 5th circle.
Oh, they have things? Oh, okay, I have to look at it next
Deadly
time.
Sins, yeah.
Okay.
I saved the list.
We'll go 5th for Anger.
Excellent.
Because it was rage-inducing.
5th for Anger.
I'm a patient person. You tested me.
All right, tune in next time to see what our next story from video game retail hell is.
I know what my next one is.
That's all for today. Keep on collecting your collector's edition collectors and break that glass ceiling. Happy hunting. Find them good deals. From the most oppressed to the next most oppressed. Gamers. Collecti-Bros out.
Bye.